Right, let's get down to writing our endpoint. So we've had to add authentication. So we need to actually create an endpoint that should be able to create, which is the post, and should also be able to read. Now, we're going to start using REST frameworks generics view sets. So what this does is that there are a couple of them. We have generics.list create API view. We have generics.list API view itself. We have generics.create API views itself. But a combination of list and create helps minimize a lot of work for you. Within it, you can have to create and then you can have to list, all with the same endpoint. Similarly, you can have destroy, and you can have to delete. You have a detail view, and you can have an update view, all within the generics. So let's get to the code. Let's get to the code. Right, so we get to our views, and within these views, let's create class. We have post list create view, and then we're going to import generics dot list create API view. And then the next thing we need to do is that we need to tell Django what query set it requires to actually run the code. So we have to customize the query set, and the query set should be the post model. So with the post.object.all, we define or tell Django that this is where you get the data that you should query from for the essence of this endpoint. So the next thing is that we're going to define our serializer class. Remember our post serializer. And then finally, we want to have permission on this endpoint. And this permission we're going to use is authenticated, or if you're not authenticated, you're only allowed to read. So having done that, we have our endpoints fully ready. So let's try this out. Let's hook this to or map this to a URL. So let's see path list create right. Then we have this dot as view, and then we'll call it list create. So let's import this and allow our code to reload. Then we can visit the endpoint and visit the endpoint list create. So we're seeing that string object is not callable. Let's see where the error is coming from. Okay, from our post.views, we have post list create endpoint. Let's see where this error is coming from. So where's our settings? Let's close this up. Let's see. So the problem is not from there. Let's check our URLs. Post.urls. This create. Post this create. So we're attempting to call something where we should not. So where is this problem coming from? Okay, let's remove all of this and see what happens. But first, let's confirm our URL. We have API and we have our list create. Let's check out our post and be sure that it works. Post, right? So you see that this still has an issue. So let's comment all of this out to see if we have problem fixed a bit. Sorry. Let's comment this. Let's remove this. Okay. Right. Let's see base permission meta class. Okay. So on our settings, let's remove this and return it to the initial stage. Take it gradually to see where our problem is coming from. Now this works, right? Now let's add it gradually. So here have this. So let's comment this out. I will gradually try to sort out the issue with the code. Then our default permission classes. Okay, this introduces the error for that one. Excuse me, please. Right. So let's get to the code. Then, okay, before we proceed, we would want to do something. So on this endpoint, we would like, let's even do that before we talk about permission and know if we can get that fixed. Right. For us to even have authentication, we need a way of identifying whose post or what post was created by whomsoever. So for this course, we're going to introduce a field here and call it author. And then we're going to have models.foreign key auth.user. Remember, we've looked at char field, we've looked at text field, we've looked at datetime field. This time, let's understand what the foreign key is. Now, this is a direct relationship, or rather a relationship in our Django fields. There's the foreign key relationship, there's the many-to-many, there's the many-to-many field, there's the one-to-one field. So these are the three major kinds of relationship that exist between a model and the other. Let's try to explain this a bit. Right. Now let's have posts and users as an example. Now this post, we want to be able to attach each post to a particular user, hence the introduction of author. And we don't just want to have a string or a char field and storing the name of the author. We actually want to keep a proper track of which user so that we can allow for authentication and then permissions. Because of this, we're going to have a relationship to Django inbuilt user model. User model represents the user, a logged in user or a user in the database. So when we're having a foreign key, this means that post having a foreign key to user means that a user can have multiple posts, and multiple posts can belong to a user. So this means many to one or one to many. So in this case, many to one and one to many. So it simply says that a user can have multiple posts, and multiple posts can belong to a single user. So that's the many to one and one to many. So we have the many to many field where many posts can belong to, assuming we want a many to many field, many posts can belong to many users, and many users can have many posts. So that's the many to many field. And then we have our one to one field. This one to one field could be, let's say we want a user should only have one post. So it means one user, one post, one post, one user. Having understood this key relationships with Django models, let's jump right back in. So we have our author field here. So we would want to include our author field in our serializer. So we have author. Remember, having made a change to your model, you're meant to make migrations. So we're going to have it work with default of 1, and then you're going to migrate. So notice what I did here. It asked me to provide, because of the existing post models in the database, the author is just introduced. So I am asked to provide maybe a default. I'll be set to all the existing rows, or quit and manually define a value in the models.py. So because of this, I felt I should go with having a default value for all the existing rows, and I set the user ID to 1. So that was literally what I had to do there. Now, having included this author, let's go and modify this. Let's see what happens, right? So for our author to be included when we're creating, we need to customize our Django REST framework generics perform create, where we get to perform this creation before our serializer finishes its operation. This makes it possible for us not to require author when we're creating.